Hello and welcome to all the men and women of the West. I'm Joe, here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
We're going to be continuing our Dragonlance Book Club podcast. Next time we'll be touching on some of the horror elements of Dragonlance, because might as well, it is October now. Because we had already announced we were going to do these couple of chapters, I figured we should get them out of the way, and then maybe have a week or two of horror content, which will be good for us. Last time, Brennan Guy in our previous Dragonlance video questioned, how does Tanis hate Raistlin? Which I think it's pretty evident that he does hate Raistlin. And he said that, well, he consults with him all the time. Just because you hate someone doesn't mean you don't respect their IQ. In actual history, for example, Churchill hated Hitler. But did that mean he underestimated Hitler? No. He respected the man's intelligence. That said, he asked how come you would hate him and consult with him. Let's give Tanis credit. He's really smart. He knows Raistlin has a higher IQ than him, so why not employ it? He may hate the guy, but he might as well put him to use.
He's also practical.
Some are unreasonable in their hatred, such as Flint, but Tanis is the sort of guy, he may hate you, but he'll still think rationally for the most part. It's just Tanis dislikes people at times for irrational reasons. Like, the thing with Tanis is he's very complicated as a character. That's one of the beauties of his character I really like. Just to start with, for example, Tanis on page 49 says that he doesn't trust his own companions. Because there's a quote on that page, a little funny, where Caramon says, I don't think he trusts us, Caramon observed. Talking about Riverwind. Would you? Tanis asked, glancing at the big man. That's such a weird statement to make. But as we see in Dragons of Spring Dawning, Tanis does not trust his companions. The only one of them he truly trusts are Flint and Kitiara. And the reason I point that one out is that he does have a tendency of sometimes making the wrong decisions. This lack of trust on his part seems very weird considering the other companions blindly trust him. There's only one of them who initially blindly trusts him, but as the story progresses begins to lose faith in him, Raistlin. This part of chapter 5 we didn't really touch upon. Trouble with questioning Sturm's honor scene is that it is such a weird scene, and really, the guy saves your life a few times, and you're gonna just go, I don't like you, and whatnot. It just seems forced. It's a scene that allows us insight into Sturm's view of himself, to an extent, or at least how he wants himself to be perceived, as a man of honor. And it almost comes to a fight, though, between Riverwind and Sturm. With Riverwind, it always almost comes to a fight between him and the other companions. The next bit has the companions turning to Tanis for ideas because they're trying to decide where they should go. And Raistlin just says, there's only one route, Darkenwood, if we want to reach Qualinesti. Since that's our destination and the only place we can get to, we might as well travel through Darkenwood. And we also find out on page 68 Sturm's vision of Tanis, which is to say that Tanis embodies the honor of Solamnia, which not yet. Later, Tanis does. At the end of Spring Dawning, Tanis truly embodies, for the most part, honor of Solamnia. That great a guy. But at the start of the Chronicles, no. I prefer to think of it as he sees what Tanis could be, in a way. Sturm's a very perceptive guy, same with Tanis in a lot of ways. We find out that Riverwind still wants to go give the blue crystal staff to the Haven Highseekers, even though they're in league with the goblins. The scene is really weird, because Tanis says, I trust that Riverwind. The writing in that scene is... I don't usually trash the writing of these novels because I find them well written, but I'm just left wondering if maybe Riverwind at his core is a coward, that he himself could get ahead. I don't know, because at this point they know the Theocrat was the guy plunged into the fire back in the inn. He's the head of the Haven Highseekers, and they're in league with the goblins, who are in league the Dark Armies of the North, and yet Riverwind wants to sell Goldmoon's staff to them. That part makes no sense. Unless, of course, you rationalize it as him not really caring about the staff, but seeing it as a means, as something they could profit from. Maybe that's it. He sees it as, well, Goldmoon, we don't have much coin, we might as well sell it and live out the rest of our days in luxury, which that's the only way I can rationalize that part. It is such a peculiar part, but Tanis then going, I have blind faith in this guy. What? It makes no sense. Ever since Riverwind has shown up, he has tried to pick fights with the likes of Caramon, Raistlin, Sturm. That is so weird. I know a lot of people may not like me for saying that, and Tanis having blind faith in him, but mistrusting his own companions? Maybe it's like the influence of Kitiara over him. That said, we get an explanation of the nature of Kender on page 71, which I really like this quote because, well, it's basically where they're just a spirit of childish innocence. And we get Tass singing a song without a care in the world, traipsing down the road, while you pretty much have an army out looking for them. It's just such a funny scene. It's so Tass. I love Tass.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I know. He's just so much fun. We get Riverwind's story of how he claimed the staff, sort of. He says, I wandered many long years. Often I had no idea where I was. I followed the sun and the moons and the stars. My last journey is like a dark dream. It was a city once beautiful with white buildings supported by tall columns and marble, but it is now as if some great hand had picked up the city and cast it down a mountainside. The city is now very old and very evil, which he doesn't say what he actually encountered in the city. But he does say a woman came out to heal him while he lay dying. We get the companions traipsing further down the road, whereupon they end up encountering a group supposed traveling clerics who are 6 feet, all dark in nature and keeping their faces cloaked and their hands bandaged. For the most part. Almost all of them are like that. Most of the companions dive into a nearby ditch off the road to hide. Sturm refuses because I'm not going to hide, which is pretty hilarious. He ends up deciding to try to see if he can trick info out of these guys, and he does a bang-up job. He gets them just chattering about everything about the staff. Tell me, why do you seek a blue crystal staff? Surely one of plain sturdy wood would suit you reverend gentlemen better. It is a sacred staff of healing. One of our brothers is sorely ill. He will die without the blessed touch of this holy relic. Healing? He gets quite a bit of info. Then he says, I'm afraid I cannot help. And we get gold moons.
It's a situation where these guys are after the staff.
They're lying.
They're lying. They even admitted to it. Sturm was getting all the information.
And they admit that they are coming from Haven. Rush is out there. But how she justifies it is that, but this was not the act of a foolish, hysterical woman.
You serious?
As you saw from the Jameson clip, that's our thoughts on this scene. It's like
Sturm was 2 seconds away from waving them farewell and avoiding a conflict when Goldmoon pops up.
she goes to hand herself over to them. I don't know how else to describe it. She just gives herself over to them. It turns out to be a trap, to her shock, and she's not prepared for it. Riverwind goes to rush forward to help her, only to freeze and start to shrink away. The thing with Tanis is, Tanis was trying to tell everyone, no, don't interfere. Sturm's got this. She rushes forward. Caramon then says, screw it, I want to fight. Rushes forward, and you have Tanis, oh, for heaven. Tell me you're not going to rush forward, and you have Raceland. What? Of course not. I'm not dumb. Tanis does have a brain between his ears. Once again, the thing is, he's not as smart as Raceland, who is. But he had a good grasp of the situation. He didn't want to needlessly battle. Now, there is some positive from this battle that comes out. They find out about Draconians. But that said, they end up having to save Goldmoon and Riverwind. Raceland ends up casting magic, exhausting himself, and Goldmoon has to heal him a little. Oh, and she's saved by sheer dumb luck when the staff turns out to harm the Draconians rather than heal them if they're evil. But that said, she starts waving it around and fending off the Draconians trying to defend Riverwind. Yeah, the staff is like the Staff of Magius. It can deal a pretty good, solid blow in the right hands, such as hers. Anyways, thankfully Flint comes to the rescue for Tanis because one of the Draconians got the drop on him and started strangling him, axes the guy to the back, then proceeds to move on. So the big heroes in this battle are essentially Flint, the twins, I guess, and Sturm. The heroes once again prove their worth. The next few chapters are going to be the Darkenwood story, plot points, which I'm not the fondest of that part of the story. I'm not terribly fond of the unicorn in the story. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button. Stay tuned for our Dragonlance horror content.